monstrous earthquakes, devastating plague, dying oceans colored red. All are foretold in Revelation, and all have been witnessed on earth. These calamities have yet to bring about the end of the world, but are they signposts, warnings that far worse is to come? Evidence seems to be mounting that another sign is unfolding. 1997, the Canadian Arctic, 100 miles from the nearest city. A field researcher begins to notice something alarming.
The changes that I saw unfolding in the Arctic were much too large, much too persistent to be explained away as just natural variations in climate. There was something else at work there. This is real, and it's now.
Giant ice sheets the size of Rhode Island cleave off Antarctica. Hurricanes rage with unimaginable intensity in the Atlantic. Cyclones bring death to hundreds of thousands in Asia. Droughts decimate gigantic regions of the world, and species are driven to extinction at rates never seen before. Could all these calamities be connected to one sign? Revelation tells us the 7 seals bring forth 7 trumpets, and the blaring of the 7th trumpet summons 7 bowls.
And with the 4th bowl, an angel poured his vial upon the sun, and men were scorched with great heat.
Heat, the sun scorching mankind. One of the most alarming signs of the prophecy, and for the scientific community, climate change is unfolding with undeniable evidence.
The Earth is getting hotter. It's warming up. There are just certain physical principles that are inviolate. The physics behind global climate change are very solid. We increase the concentrations of atmospheric greenhouse gases, the planet warms. You cannot escape the physics.
For Mark Sarazi, a research scientist at the National Snow and Ice Data Center, the cause for climate change is obvious and man-made.
It became very clear that we were starting to see the effects of global warming associated with rising greenhouse gases.
Everything that we're doing in our activities, whether it's building new cities, putting up agricultural lands, whether it's driving vehicles and putting gases into the atmosphere that we know help warm the planet further, we are causing this planet to warm. It's happening much faster than our models were telling us is going to happen. And that's scary.
But for some religious experts, the evidence of climate change is linked to a larger prophecy, another sign of the impending apocalypse.
Men will die from heat, sun radiation and poisoning, crops, water will dry up. There will be such an intensification of the sun's rays that 50% of the Earth's population will die.
We're seeing natural disasters unprecedented. When you see on the evening news somebody sitting in the upstairs of their home because the downstairs is flooded out, it's frightening.
Whether or not they agree on the cause, most scientists and religious experts do agree on one thing. Our planet is heating up, and the effects are catastrophic.
It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And then it's a matter of how severe is it going to be and what are the impacts going to be.
Increasing the Earth's temperature, even by a few degrees, can cause devastating consequences worldwide.
The change is going on very, very quickly. We're going to see a rise in sea level. We are going to see very likely more intense hurricanes. We're going to see increasing drought. You're going to see strife. You're going to see conflict. Increased terrorism as a result of global warming, it's in there in the possibilities.
A rise in temperatures would set off a chain reaction.
What we're going to be seeing is that rate of sea level rise is going to accelerate. Why is it going to accelerate? Largely because we're going to see increasing meltdown of the Earth's glaciers and ice caps.
What's going to raise the sea levels is primarily Greenland and Antarctica. Together they're more than 90 meters of ice.
A small rise in sea level, just 10 meters, would submerge much of Florida and the East Coast. It would displace 25% of the entire population of the United States.
You might want to consider not living in a low-lying coastal area if you're intending to hold on to your land for a while, because that land might be gone.
Some scientists postulate an even more extreme rise in sea levels, up to 90 meters. That would create a truly biblical catastrophe. London, Venice, Amsterdam, Berlin, even Paris would be underwater.
Once you force the climate system with greenhouse gases, with what's been observed, over the past 100 or so years, you get this amplified warming.
At the same time, the Earth will be ravaged by fearsome superstorms.
Hurricanes feed on warm ocean water. The oceans are warming up. And so therefore it makes sense that we ought to see more intense hurricanes as we move into the future. We're going to see more intense or extreme weather events of other types, for example, thunderstorms. We put this all together and we're seeing a picture of change that humankind is going to have to deal with.
People in developing countries would be affected first. Hundreds of thousands could perish. But nations like the United States are far from immune.
I think we have this arrogance that, in the Western world we're fine, we can deal with any sort of climate change. But, you can look at things like Katrina happening, and we weren't prepared for that. But the reality is I think we're all vulnerable on the planet.
Whether or not we're ready for global warming is a matter of conjecture. But there's no way to prepare for the next sign, a global war that will wipe out most of humanity. The final battle between good and evil. Revelation calls it Armageddon.